Hey guys, Gilbert here, and today I want to talk to you guys about one of the most underrated enchants. Most people, when asked about the worst new enchant added through Layer 2, would probably respond with Solar and Curse of the Unbidden. Today we're going to be talking about Curse of the Unbidden, and its potential for 1v1s that's often overlooked. Well, Gilbert, what does the enchant even do? I know that this is a question that a large portion of the player base doesn't even know the answer to. Right? So I went in game and I did some testing with my friend to figure out, and it actually does nothing except for leave you completely neutral to your opponent. I'll go ahead and I'll put up some clips of me countering my friend on screen several times. We didn't have any perspective from him because he didn't have any clipping software at the time. So unfortunately, I can't provide you guys with that. But after countering him successfully several times, we noticed that there was no draining of ether and tempo, and there was no increased tempo drain on his part. This was something that I've seen inside of the Deepwoken wiki that's completely false and probably should get updated. But with that being said, the strongest thing about this enchant is that it leaves you and your opponent neutral to each other. The counter that is provided through having this enchant is what gives you the ability to do this. The downside of the enchant is thought to be replacing the critical attack that your weapon has with this counter, but that's not the case because it replaces your critical with something way stronger. And I'll explain that in a bit. With the new parry changes, some of you guys might have noticed that there is a method of attacking that would force you or your opponent to take a negative in the fight. I'll also explain why I'm calling it a negative in a second as well. There were no status effects applied to him on a successful counter. I don't think that this means the enchant is necessarily bad. With the new parry change in Layer 2, we know that parries have a 1.5 second cooldown. I'm going to post a screenshot of myself explaining this to my friends at an earlier date and go off of that. In the first part of the screenshot, you can see me explain the typical attack pattern of someone with Master's Flourish and a falchion. All of these times are accurate. I went in game and tested for the mantras, and I also used the formula for hit speed to calculate how long it would take to full swing a falchion, and then I cut it in half. I did the same thing for Master's Flourish. You can also see the defensive measures of someone who can react to the attack. As you can see, the top row is the attacks and the bottom is the defense corresponding to each of those attacks. If someone were to perfectly react to everything, they would still be forced to take a negative, which in this case can be anything from posture damage to flat damage. And this is the next screenshot. This is the same thing, except this time you have the enchant counter. You've probably noticed that there's no negative taken. This enchant almost acts as a second parry, making the whole entire parry change useless. It doesn't apply to you. But the question is, Gilbert, what if you just had prediction, or contractor, or counterbell? Well, even with those things acting as a second parry, you still have to consider their cooldown. The critical cooldown on the Curse of the Unbidden is significantly lower than your normal critical cooldown, which is usually 6 seconds. Curse of the Unbidden has around a 2-second cooldown. If you're 1v1ing someone with an even skill level and you have this enchant, you'll win the battle of attrition, and overall take no negatives while they suffer multiple. Although this enchant only has the potential to be one of the best, if not the best 1v1 enchant, I don't think after the new changes to pairing that someone could use this enchant to its full potential. At least not at the moment. But hey guys, prove me wrong, and let me know if you've seen someone on demon mode with this enchant. That's all, and see you guys.